So I'm Niemela from COSACOSA Art at Large. We titled our report out The Art of Digital Inclusion because as an organization, we're working for social inclusion. We want to make sure that Philadelphia residents of a variety of abilities, backgrounds, and cultures all have a seat at the table, all have their voices heard as they work to better their lives and their communities. And we do that by making these long-term collaborative public art projects that are site-specific to city neighborhoods and community concerns. So for the last year, Charnay and I especially have been having a lot of conversations about technology with regard to the organization, given that our constituents have very limited access to computers, given that they're a wildly diverse bunch of people, and that we're very focused on youth development, leadership, and literacy. So going into the conference, we had three major goals. One was to find new ways to break through the digital and social exclusion that some of our constituents may feel. Waiting for their 20 minutes of FaceTime on Facebook at a local library branch. The other way is if we have constituents in North Philly, South Philly, West Philly, how might we unite them via technology to share resources and information? And lastly, to look at our new media training initiatives for youth. We were really privileged a few years back to work with National Learn and Serve America and CTCnet to do this thing called Youth Visions for Stronger Neighborhoods. We piloted their urban curriculum, so we have that in our back pocket. But how do we really make that more accessible and expand it to reach more people? So we were fortunate because one of my youth council members was able to come to the conference with me, so we tag teamed and we went to lots of different things. This is not a check mark, it's actually a graph of the variability of different conference presentations. Some, as normally at conferences, just did not live up to what they were supposed to be, but some were amazing through the roof, and we left with a couple great takeaways. One was we were sitting in the pecan room, which was the tiniest room of the conference with like the most sparsely populated seminar because it was about digital exclusion, if you were there. And the presenters were talking about the work they were doing, uniting with CTCs. And it was really great, but we looked at each other and said, hey, wait a minute, these aren't our constituents. And this was borne out the next week when Charnay and I were working with this group of ex-offenders in Allegheny West on their GED graduation mosaic. They were some of the most wired people I've ever seen. It was almost like a mini focus group of how our constituents use technology. We were there every day, all day, just talking to them about it. So they choose not to have computers in their home, and as long as that choice is available, as long as we're sure people are making that choice, we need to meet them where they live, which is mobile. The other thing is, we're always talking about silos. That's the real popular metaphor now, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's very static and inorganic. So, I went to a presentation called Iconic Interconnectivity, which had nothing to do with technology at all, but it had to do really with talking about capacity and success are really a function of resourcefulness and interaction rather than size, and it was really affirming. It was an amazing presentation. So we need to remember that for our individual expertise, for our organizational expertise, for our stakeholder expertise, that they're all sort of living, breathing, viable bodies of information, and we need to be flexible and look at new ways we can interact. So, not being an auctioneer, the takeaways our plan for the future, we have three plans. One is communications codification. We have our main website, which is in dire need of an upgrade. We have another domain that is our artist project website. We have a wiki that's being edited in 20 communities around the world for our 20th anniversary. They're all separate domains. They need to be brought under one portal and identifiable as COSACOSA projects. We also need to stop talking about our initiatives by their swanky names and just talk about them as what they are. If it's art for civic engagement, if it's art for healthcare, art for service learning. We need to go mobile because that's where our constituents are. So we need to look at text to broadcast, or probably for us, something like SMS Frontline SMS. We need to really up our social media presence. And we need to take our mobile computer lab out and about more than we do. I think it should be really every town hall meeting. We're doing this crazy community organizing theater game. It should be right there at the end of those different workshops so that our constituents can reflect on their experience online, on site immediately, and I think that would be really, really powerful. Lastly, we need to look at the Youth Visions curriculum, which has been very focused on full-length films in Final Cut or full-length CD in Pro Tools, and do something that has a little more instant gratification attached to it, so whether it's GarageBand or flip cameras and YouTube posts, to try to find a way to enhance that and broaden the pool of accessibility, and also see if that our youth can have any kind of entrepreneurial endeavors coming out of that. So lastly, here we are, our Healing Garden in North Philadelphia. So please come visit us on site or online, and thank you so much for this opportunity.